Welcome in, everybody. Money Shot here with another God's Eye perspective of a public War of Rights match. War of Rights available on Steam and is a 300 player count first person military roleplay combat sim set in the US Civil War. This is ticket style play, but not quite what you're used to, with a unique buff penalty system for both objective based team play as well as role playing appropriately. Today's match will be the famous Dunker Church. With a twist, however, it is currently winner over the Mason-Dixon line, and with it brings the hardships that all armies face while trying to maneuver and fight effectively, and today will certainly reflect that. We will see over the next few weeks how teams and officers adapt to the new difficulties. We will see if the near blizzard-like conditions across most of the battlescapes. That being said, let's flip it on over and let it unfold. But before we do so, if you haven't yet and you do enjoy these, give me a like and subscribe down below. Share if you've got friends, and I will check in with you just before the map. Hope you enjoy. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into this snowy afternoon on War of Rights. Frosty view there of Duncan Church as the CSA musters up. 44 on the clock. And Union doing the same. Snow really going to make things interesting here on Dunker Church, as visibility is really going to hinder both teams and their usual tactics across open ground. Batteries on both sides also going to be severely limited. You can see far left Union flag up there, the one that's not moving, is their battery. They're no longer visible. From either battery's position. Counter battery was pretty much a mute point at this point. Yeah, you can't even you can't see anything. Literally blizzard-like conditions down here for the infantry as well. You can see really they can't even see down to the next field or the next fence line. Right up here, you have a one unit, Union unit, pushing down the center of the map. You can see their presence starting to fall on this seasonal event as they get into line. Rebels here taking a position, really using some good terrain right here in the middle of the map, just in front of the church. And we probably will see them here most of the match. You can see they have really consolidated there. The rest of their boys over here spoiling any attempt to come around and take the CSA guns, which normally would be an issue, but with this snow it's not as much. But we are going to see a really good opening skirmish right here as they run into each other along this small road. Pretty good size amount of Union boys here too, and we're going to see this evolve into a a longer battle. Union shifting to try to get cover behind some of the larger trees up here. They're a pretty good sized force. However, they do not realize that it's often really hard in this game, snow or not, to understand the size of the force you are up against. Especially if you get multiple muskets firing at once, and that smoke can make your line look a lot larger. And you see about 5 boys here now actually being able to press an entire Union regiment. Just because of that visual disparity there. Pull back over here, see what this artillery unit is trying to do. I think they're really just kind of setting up for some close range discouragement of anything Union might do when they try to push into this point of contention, but otherwise I don't see them really putting anything together. Some Yankees here coming up the backside of the church now, and they are gonna get really rooted in here, really under the nose of the Confederates, who abandoned their hill, I guess, or they pushed on someone. There was a battle somewhere. Union battery is absolutely mute, I would say, with the snow. They are going to try to crank some shots off on this hilltop, but that might be the only thing they're going to be good for, unless you really were able to get some scouts up here that would relay information back. Artillery is almost wasting slots in this match with the snow. CSA way back in here in the woods. Flag is down. It looks like there was a nice little fight here. Yeah, a lot of Union on the ground, and remember that was an entire Union regiment, honestly. The snow allowed a different CSA company to sneak in there on top of their little skirmishing group and do some nasty work, it looked like. And Union will largely have reset. I believe there's a small group down here, unless this is Rebel too. Yep, these are Rebels as well, opening some packages. You can see them there on the ground. And somebody grabs a candy cane. Union gonna try to utilize the snow as they push through the Arctic. And hopefully they do not get seen out here. The chances, though, get larger the closer they get. They do have to go up this rise, and then eventually the sun is going to give them away. You see them coming through their artillery battery there, which continues to try to put something together. I mean, good on them. There's not much that they can actually see. They got it there. Honestly, they can't. They can't see anything. If they could push cannons up, if they're willing to spend the time to do that. They find a poor lost CSA artilleryman who may be relatively new to the game. His battery is a long ways away, and he might have gotten lost, like legitimately, in the snow, or they may have a plan going on to turn Union guns on around on themselves. We'll see. There's another one out here, but I think this guy is a little lone sniper. Yep. And if there was a conspiracy to steal guns, it was squashed right there. This is just that sniper, right? Yeah. Uh-oh, he missed. And now the big dagger comes out, and the artillery boys get their revenge. As they pull out the little Romanesque artillery sword. And
Independent fire, boys.
some line battles coming out here. Volleys going up across the frozen tundra onto this picket fence.
Alright, gentlemen, take aim. You can kind of see some figures out there. The shoulders. Steady. Fire!
And a return volley by the rebels. But I don't think... Yeah, there's quite a few boys on the ground now. They do see them.
We'll just throw snowballs at them instead.
Just right at what?
Little black
Where
pixels.
is our flesh? I have someone that's coming down this way.
A snowball getting thrown there into that line. While it is a decent amount into a difficult visual field, they are doing some damage to the Union line, and we'll see if they shift before they lose too many tickets out there.
Better get away from my
But as it sits right now, they're pretty confident up on that hill.
You've been a naughty boy.
Oh, I've got the candy cane now.
CSA is gonna shift. You hear some calls going out now for their boys to move. And somebody's practicing with their candy cane. Cannons now starting to actually find something for the first time in the match. They've been able to get one of the cannons over here onto the main intersection. And they kind of command the entire center of the map that way. Whether they are able to see or not, we might be able to find an officer. There's a couple of officers. This would still be their officer though. Nope.
Yeah, I don't really understand what like my artifacts.
Sometimes you'll see an officer up a ways acting as a scout, a forward observer for their artillery. He is back in the back, however.
Just hold. Don't fall up.
Union now taking this central hill right in the face of that same said cannon. And they're going to try to really put a hurt on the center of the main CSA force. You can see they're kind of split right now. That is the battery on the left and then their infantry on the right. We've got some infantry over here in the far left. I imagine we'll see them start to come on in. Although they aren't really moving, and he actually might be away from his keyboard.
Those things, man. Barely even here.
So check in really quick on the rest of the Union battery over here, but I don't think we're gonna see much. Unless somebody happens to have things written down in a notebook. Numbers wise, I think that they're other than this gun right here, which is trying to find its mark.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man.
We won't see much artillery this match. At least from the Union, and they fire and it goes, it's low and ends up hitting the hill. Luckily, no Union remain there. They were just there. And the Yankees now pull over to the north of the map to try to get back around into the wood line. Small skirmishing group here to spoil that attempt awaits them. I don't think they realize it yet as they come through the tall scrub. You can see them in the distance. And they start firing smack into them as they just casually come out of the scrub brush. And immediately they take a lot of casualties. And the rest of the CSA line comes to join the fun. And they are now hemmed severely in this relatively open area. This brush isn't providing them any sort of cover whatsoever. They have to form a battle line and pour some fire down simply to put some suppression into this line. They're gonna get absolutely chewed to death if they do not shift. They have to get out of there. And now they begin to absolutely fall back with some haste. A couple of boys brave trying to put some shots out. That fence, however, is a lot bigger than it looks. And one company pushing up to ensure that the Union continues to fall back. And they really push for for the edges of the map now. See, point of contention now way over there. And we are out of bounds nearly.
Southwest. You know what? We can fucking cut them off. We can cut them off. We go down this line on the right.
I don't know if you have enough numbers for that.
You don't have enough people to do that. Now the artillery has found it. Artillery must be talking with somebody up here as they hit home on their first shot through the snow. You see, yeah, their officer is moving up and acting as a forward observer. CSA now taking positions. This is higher ground right here. You can see if we drop this rise and then you put in the large boulders and fallen trees. This is quite a significant height advantage for these old rifles. They come pouring down off of their high ground though. I'm not sure what they're gonna do. They're gonna try to push straight in and go for a melee, I think. Yep, they are charging. You see a candy cane raised to the heavens there, and this has become a good old-fashioned street fight on the very edges of the map. The Union really falling quick. They were not able to get formed up into anything sustainable, and you see their flags tearing off, trying to get out of there. One going down.
Stay, guys, stay.
And an officer and a flag bearer attempting to reset before they have to go back to their main spawn.
Keep going, keep going.
It's not gonna happen though, and he pulls them all the way back. Flag now down. Officer is now alone. And we'll see, he leaves the flag. And goes back to collect his respawns. As CSA.
Alright guys, everyone up and over. What? Okay, Virginia, shift left down the road. Virginia, shift left down the road.
And CSA will pull back towards the main point here, as they've done their job. Union's engaged now, even slipping to the CSA's taking losses. And the CSA battery now preparing to solely
Go hide in the bush. I'm running.
You want to get shot?
take this entire Union line as they come charging into the church. They're going to try to get around to the back side of the church. Nothing the battery can do. For some reason, they are not turning their guns around. They did have plenty of time, I can tell you that from experience, and they still do. If they calmly go about their tasks, they could deliver some very effective fire. They're attempting to turn at least one gun. This has become a strange engagement at this point. Union way back here in the woods. I think they pushed so far and so deep, though. Their line is very, very spread out, and it's actually going to get attacked by some Rambos at this point. It's probably going to fall apart the second CSA pushes on them at all. I think they should have just held the church. They probably believe that the CSA line was still back over here where they got decimated, but nobody is home, as they say, and we'll see if this blunder becomes infamous or exploitable. It's still exploitable right now. There's a pretty decent amount of them if they sneak back up here. But they continue to just kind of hunt and peck in the woods. I think they're following this one CSA guy who is really, he's just running away. He's not going to any particular unit, and now a large contingent of Yankees is lost in the woods, way out of position, and they're combat ineffective without even a skirmish, and now CSA is gonna go back in there and hunt for them as well, as word is probably getting to the officers that people have spotted these Yankees back in here. Now they're getting pressed from two different sides. And they're gonna go to melee here right about now. They were able to really pull themselves together, though, so they've got a decent amount of troops in one spot. If they can form and put meaningful fire down, this first press by the rebels largely gets pushed back. However, the main line is still trying to come through the woods. Here they are. And once they find them, it's probably over for their little foresty foray. They're back in here. Decent amount though. Their flags are up and they are reinforcing the line. Shifting too. The shift is probably not an intentional counter to this main line of rebels, but it is certainly countering them, and they're moving back towards the point of contention to envelop it from the rear. And they have now caught CSA unawares and out of position. CSA is going to try to cut back in here. They may have seen the shadow or a glint off the flag of the Union as they went by, because they are now really pushing in to try to cut them off. Same thing with a company coming out of the main spawn. They've respawned and they tried to catch the Union line as they came through, but they just missed them. And CSA now finds the very tail end of the Union line. They know that they are close. They smell blood. You can hear the rebel yell as it comes up. CSA battery now getting overrun by that first push of the Union as they come out of the wood line. They do not know that the entire main CSA army is right behind them, and this is going to get seriously ugly. They can be reinforced, however, from the center of the map, and we'll see how this one goes. They do get up and over the fence, and they dig in hard on the intersection. Southern boys get back up on their limbers. They want their guns back if they can get their guns operational. However, that is point blank in the Union faces, and there's no way they're going to allow them to do that. And Yankees now reinforce off of the hilltop. Rebels with a slight height advantage. A very slight height advantage. It's not. It's negligible with the snake fence for cover here. However, those limbers are the only thing armored in the game, and so they are just as well dug in. And a real close-ranged skirmish here for Dunker Church. Union artillery finding its home right in the center of that CSA limber setup. Looks like it explodes just above the wagons. Nothing gets flipped over, but it does cause the CSA to break up a little bit. They do advance, however, instead of fall back, and you see a couple of units, Yankee boys, slipping right there as they pull back towards the center hill. They do not need to pull back too much, however. It's going to allow CSA to try to push up and get back on their guns. And you see one boy loading canister right there. Union officer says absolutely not. And he runs in and takes him out. He needs to get back to his troop, though. He's out of line. They need to cover him and get him back collected before he goes down. He's going to be worth a lot of tickets to those rebels. CSA now breaking, and they currently hold the point. Union would love to get in there and snag this one out from underneath their nose right now, and we might see an attempt. They're a little broken up to actually try it, in my opinion, but we might see them come on in anyway. They do, they flood, but it is not enough. Those caissons offer a pretty dug in position, and they do not get reinforced by their boys on the hill. And that breaking attempt may have been thwarted completely. And this is going to become a slugfest. You can hear, of course, the Southern Boys' proximity chat. Calmly displaying their confidence. And the usual calm, quiet following orders that you get from the Union side.
They're charged.
It's always such a difference when we get close here. I believe Union gun now taking out a couple of their own boys. They don't really see what they're shooting right now. They need to extend their range by about 20 yards. Union does get in here. Starts to wither down this point of contention. They are taking losses to CSA's now last stand. And they need to get that flag under wraps. CSA is going to try to really push up and take this high ground for one last hurrah push. Dumps some fire down this hill. But Union is really just rolling up a few boys at a time and pushing volleys and then replacing them with new boys. We got some brave boys pushing into the church itself. They go down. And that actually pushes Union into breaking. With those boys being out of line. And now a cannon opens up point blank from the rebel line. They finally got their canister loaded, and we'll see how this one ends up playing out. Union down in just down the hill. Just a steep enough hill that they cannot see their heads.
I only get coal.
And it's just a slugfest here across the front yard of Dunkard Church. Holiday flags flying. And what was a party atmosphere has gotten quiet on the CSA side even, as both teams really dig and try to push for this final bit of ground. Bodies all over the ground, and Union now pushes into the front yard. They're going to cross the road and they're going to dig for the church, leaving a couple flags behind and a couple boys to keep the reinforcements coming in. They're going to clubs. They're not even going to bayonets as the Union officers slowly push them around. They're going to try to sweep around the side of the church. They really need to envelop on both sides. I don't think they really can with the caissons still being armed here and defended. However, they are sweeping up onto that as well, and the last bit of red leaves the center ring, and Union starts to take the point. CSA trying to push through the... Or is this just a flag bearer? Hey, never mind. It was a flag bearer. He goes down. Candy canes come running in to try to do some last bit of damage here. They look for anybody who's out of line to get as many tickets as possible. It's not enough, though. All right, pull it up here. Union. Great showing by the Union. Sweeps the field. Multiple Yankee breakthroughs into the woods and clear into that CSA backfield. Really allowed them to keep a hurt on that already visibility kept CSA artillery battery. And ultimately, through quite a bit of attrition, wear the rebel team down and hold the church in the
The
end.
Dunkers were but one
Great
subset
job
of the new
by
Protestant
the
offshoots which
Union,
resulted
and I
from
will
the
leave
Reformation,
you
named after
with
their
the
full
map.
dunking of a person during a baptism. Many of the adherents had fled to the United States in the decade following their founding in 1708. And in 1851, the Muma family had donated a portion of their land for the church to be built upon. Its whitewashed walls would serve as an easy landmark for commanders to guide to as the tide of blue finally marched past it and into the woods beyond. A gargantuan amount of casualties would be gathered here as the church was used as an aid station, and a truce would be called on the 18th to gather the wounded and bury the many dead.
All right, guys, one last time, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me. If you are on YouTube and haven't yet, and you do enjoy these, please like and subscribe down below. If you got time, go ahead and flip on over to Rumble. This is actually my first video over on Rumble, and my goal is to bring these to you live over here every day, and I certainly need your support to do so. Again, I also hope you can learn from this content as much as you enjoy it, and I hope it's a bit of a different perspective of the battlefield than you're generally used to as you're playing the game. I hope you will follow along, as these are definitely just getting started, and until next time, I will see you on the field.